The Google Pixel 6a, the best deal in tech right now, $299. Link will be in the description. I mentioned it in passing the other day when I was talking about the 7 Pro. But when I saw that they are going to extend the Black Friday deal through Cyber Monday, and I'm sure before Christmas there's going to be at least one or two other opportunities to pick it up for $299. But if you're looking for a gift for that phone for your mom or dad if they're a little older, and you just you just refuse, your blood boils when you think about getting them an iPhone SE, so you don't want to do that, and you want them on Android, this is absolutely the choice. If it's a first phone for somebody, if you're a gamer on a budget, this is the phone you should be getting. If your budget for a cell phone is $200, $300, $400, then if you don't get this for gaming, you're ripping yourself off a little bit because you're denying yourself that flagship level gaming performance just because, well, it's a Pixel 6a, or you want something else, you want something flashy, or you get one of these used ROG phones or something like that. This is where you should be in order to get the power and the performance. Yeah, it's that 60 hertz display, which we'll talk about in a moment, but I think this is still the best deal in tech right now, especially when you're talking about cell phones. So let's say you're living under a rock. Let's talk about this device. The Pixel 6a launched in July, 6.1-inch 1080p display at 60 hertz. I can't tell you how overjoyed I am that 60 hertz nonsense, that all that noise at the beginning, finally calmed down and went away. When people started to use this phone in comparison with all the other devices in the price range, and some even a bit more expensive than this, that have that 90 hertz and 120 hertz, and people just saw the performance and how snappy it was, and you wouldn't even notice that it was 60 hertz, that talk died down in a hurry, especially when you compared it to something like the Samsung A53 5G. So 1080p, sharp, because 6.1-inch display, right? So you're covering less area. The panel looks really nice. In fact, I think the colors are a bit more saturated and there's a bit more pop to them than on the 7 Pro. So whatever they did with this panel, it is a very nice panel. In-display fingerprint sensor works just fine. It's great. 6 gigs of RAM, 128 gigs of storage, one configuration, 3 colors. We have the Sword of Sage here, which is fantastic. Really love it. But when you're talking about the actual deal, this becomes an important device. I really like this price point because in the past we've had devices that we've always had those questions. Oh, is this the flagship killer? Is this the one that breaks apart and shows us that we don't need to spend $1,000, $1,200 on a display, on a phone? And it's always been sort of true because they give you a couple of the flagship features. They give you a couple of the carrots to make it feel like you're getting a flagship experience, but you're really not. They'll give you the 120 hertz display on a $300 phone, $400 phone. They'll give you a couple of gigs of RAM on something. They'll give you the 8 gigs of RAM on something. Well, they'll give you a micro SD card. They'll throw these features at you that you feel like you're having a premium experience, but under the hood, when you actually go ahead and use them, they always disappoint. So while it seemed on the surface like a flagship killer experience, it really wasn't. This is a relatively no compromise flagship experience. You want to say the display, you want to say the hertz, that's fine, you can. You want to put in a couple other things in there that you think are a little off, no wireless charge, sure. But when it comes down to the things that you're going to use, 95% of the time you're using the phone, the day-to-day user experience for $300, this is a flagship. The day-to-day user experience. Not the fancy extras, not the stuff that you use 5% of the time that you're super happy about, your 10 times zoom and all the rest of it. Are they nice creature comforts? Do they make things a little easier? Absolutely. Are they necessary? Do 90% of the users use them? No. And that, like I said, you got that older mom and dad, this is someone's first phone, it's your phone, you don't do a whole heck of a lot with your phone. This is perfect. This is all you need. And this is an important device because we usually see this where we're getting more and more expensive with flagship level experiences. And this happened in PCs in the 90s with laptops, with desktops, that the prices eventually got down, kept dropping to a point where you were getting a nice desktop experience with everything that you could do at an affordable price. But that really hasn't happened in cell phones. It's all been going the other way. It's all been getting more expensive. All the new Samsung flagships out. Oh, guess what? It's $1,400 now. This is important to pull that back down, to tell manufacturers that, hey, the consumers still have a choice, and we choose to pick something like this that gives us value for money, so maybe those prices could start going the other way. We could get some of these features that everybody pays for and crows about and have them come down here where it's $200, $300, $400. And that's what you get with the Pixel 6a. Fantastic camera experience, obviously. Pixel computational photography, top notch. And the performance is absolutely blazing. Blazing. First in class by far in this category. You're going to have zero complaints. This is the best budget phone of the year, if not the best phone of the year, when you factor in price. Because the iPhone SE was too much of a compromise as far as the design for a lot of people. The Samsung A53 5G and a lot of those phones overseas, whether it's support, whether it's the chip that they put in, were too much of a compromise in terms of performance. This is neither. This gives you a nice design, a nice, relatively new 2022 design, but also the performance under the hood to go with it, so you're not running it on an enhanced potato. It's a good phone. You're going to like this. So go ahead, pick this up for Cyber Monday, $299. You absolutely cannot go wrong. There are a few phones that I love. I like a lot of phones. I like tech. I'm a fan of technology. I like a lot of stuff. But there are a few phones that every time I put my hand back on, I start using. And when I consider the entire package and then what I paid, there are a few devices that I actually love. This is one of them. And you know, if you've been around this channel, you know, the Pixel, the Google Pixel experience has not been kind to Steve Alicious Tech. It's gotten better this year, but in the past it has not been kind. So for me to heap this kind of praise on a Google product, really you have to know that means something, and it does. And it's something that you absolutely should not miss, because this panel's gorgeous. I like the flat glass. Gorilla Glass 3, by the way, which is nice, because I've had this in pockets. I've had this all over the place. Messenger bags, just trying to clean up. Not a single micro scratch to be seen. You want to know why? Because Gorilla Glass 3 focused on scratching. The newest ones, Victus, all the rest of it, they focus on getting harder to prevent shattering, or softer, whatever, to prevent shattering. But here's the downside of that. When you get a softer glass in there that doesn't shatter, if you breathe on it, there will be scratches. You go to the beach, the piece of sand or something like that, blows over from wherever. You got the micro scratches all over the place. And nothing to me is more annoying than a micro scratch. You just crack your screen, get a tempered glass screen protector, and get a case. If you're one of those people that just drops your phone all the time. Don't sacrifice performance of the display and the durability of the display for the rest of us just because a few people crack their screens all the time. I don't do that. I want something that doesn't scratch up with regular, daily, cared usage. That's what I think. But that's just me. Maybe you'll let me know. But overall, you got to love it. Android 13 running well, 6.5 hours of screen on time. It is the total package for $299. Don't miss out, especially if it's for yourself or a loved one. They will love this for years to come. A relatively compromise-free flagship user experience, day-to-day user experience for $299. If you've made it this far, like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Until next time, enjoy the season. Have that Steve Alicious day.